And Happy New Year, everybody. I almost died. Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2019. It is January. It's New Year, new you. It's so good to see everybody here. I hope that you guys have been sticking with your New Year's resolutions if you are the type that sets those up. I, for one, I'm not. We're going to be taking a peek at Skylum's Luminar 3 that launched in December. This one's different because it has something called libraries. Libraries is an organization tool that helps you organize your photos. It also helps you to categorize them so you don't have to spend a half hour searching through all of your stuff in order just to find one photo, like I was doing in Lightroom yesterday. You might have noticed that I have a little bit of a new setup right now. That's because in 2019 we are going professional. That's right, we are adult businessing and we are going to do nothing but be adults in 2019 and run our own businesses. Isn't that correct? Professionalism. Alright, so we're going to take a peek at Skylum Software's Luminar 3 with libraries. Direct competition against Lightroom. I still think it's an easier platform to use than Lightroom, especially for novices. They've got a bunch of features built into it that are just so much easier to use, and I'm actually a little bit mad about your Orton effect, Skylum. I'm a little bit mad because where has that been all of my life? So, without further ado, let's open up Luminar 3 and see what they have to offer us. So when you first open up Luminar 3, you'll get this loading window. Same thing as Lightroom. And let's see, it looks like I have an update to install, so let's go ahead and do that. Ooh, that's nice and fast. I love American internet. It's so fast. So one of the reasons I like Skylum so much as a company is that they are a small team of professional photographers as well as photo enthusiasts, and they are constantly updating their software. But they also listen. So I've seen a lot of comments and questions about whether or not an app is coming out, and there is no app available right now. You do have Snapseed that's available to you on iOS right now. That's fantastic. But yeah, Luminar 3 right now is not available mobile. All right, so let's dive into Luminar 3 right now. So I have not opened up Luminar 3. This is my first time here. And I'm going to tell it photography because that's where I hide all of my photos. Ooh, there's add another folder actually. So I'm going to do 2018, choose that folder, add another photo, 2019. So I have all of the volumes loaded that I would like to see in my library. Let's hit next. Oops, it says buy now, but I already did buy this. I bought it in December, but I've also changed computers, as you see. So it looks like I just need to put in my serial number, but I'll do that later. That's no big deal. All right, so it looks like I have all of my photos loaded here from December 2016 to December 2018. That's correct, because I haven't taken any photos in January. All right, let's take a look at our library. What shortcuts do we have? We have none. We have no albums. We do have our folders. Okay. So because this is the base program, I have not created any albums. I have not created any shortcuts, but my folders are all there. 2019 is shaded because I don't have any content inside of there. But if I wanted to go take a look at all of my photos from 2018, looks like I can just click on that and it will load all of my photos from 2018. Now if I hit this arrow right here, it will show me all of my folders, and my organization system last year needed improvement. This was how I was organizing. 2017 is even worse. Look at this. Look at this trash. Talk about that in a different video if we want. Okay, so this is a Dragon Age photo shoot that I did last December, 2018, December. Right now I'm looking at all of my photos from December, but if I wanted to find specifically that photo shoot, it's available right here. Easy as pie. Okay, so we have these hearts and the stars right here, just like Lightroom has, but something tells me if I click one of these, it'll add something into my shortcuts. Let's see, it does. All right, so favoriting a photo, we'll put that in your favorites. Everything is in there. Let's see. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so I have a date set for everything that I've recently added. I super duper like that. Recently edited. I'm in love with that. No, I think the most difficult part of any new program is really just learning where things are. Every program has a learning curve, but I don't think this one is going to be that difficult. Click on here. This is our import button. What is this guy? Oh, cool. Okay, so this is up a folder. This will probably show us our folders. I want to just stay on that one. What does this do? Hide panel. Okay, so this will show and hide this panel right here. I'm guessing this is, yeah. So these will be how big we're showing our photos, just so we can see things in detail. Plus and minus to change that. I want to hit info. Okay, so hit info gives us a histogram as well as our metadata. Now, like I said before, there are some things missing from Luminar. The biggest one for me being keywords. I am sure that they are going to be working on it. If they're not working on it, again, they're very good at listening and very good at updating. So the only pain in the butt for me, especially as a stock photographer, is doing keywords. Okay, so this is the part where it looks both like Lightroom and like Photoshop. So you've got your layers up here, but this is my base layer that is non-destructive. So I'm not going to be editing the photo itself. I will be editing on top of this photo. All right, so professional workspace is what you're going to be used to as far as Lightroom is concerned. It looks very similar, yet there are differences. So let's go ahead and do my basic edits to this one. The first thing that you have here is your denoise. I like that it is much closer up here because there are times where I frequently forget that Lightroom sometimes defaults my noise back up, and when I start processing in Photoshop, I start really getting in on those intricate details, and I notice that it's got noise to it. So I appreciate that they put this first. I shot this at an ISO 400, so I'm fine. I don't need to touch that. Saturation and vibrancy now. So what I usually do, this might not work this time, is down the saturation, up the vibrancy. And you see how her skin is still a soft color. It's not orange like it would be there, hitting Command X on my Mac there. Accent AI filter, I believe, especially being that it is copywritten, is one of their smart filters that I have been hearing so much about. So let's see what this bad boy does. Ooh, girl! Okay. It seems to intelligently change your colors, and I really like that. Sky Enhancer, probably like a polarizing filter. It seems that way. So AI Sky Enhancer seems to be a polarizing filter, but we obviously don't have enough sky to really say right now. Dehaze. Dehaze is another tool that's also available in Lightroom. And yeah, I don't need it for this one, so I'm not going to use this. Remove color cast. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so color cast seems to be a way of removing environmental light, which is really cool for you portrait photographers out there. Advanced contrast. Changes the contrast and the blending of the highlights, it seems. Midtones. Ooh, girl. Okay, I really like that. Okay, so that one helps to blend the midtones again. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Curves are something that we need to do a video by itself on because it's scary to a lot of people. But lowdown is right now you've got your blacks and your highlights up here. And what you do with these is you mute your blacks by bringing it up here, and you take your shadows back down this way. And if you look at the leather chest that she's wearing, you can see a big difference from here to where it was. It's muted now. And now what I want to do is bring her skin out just a little bit, so I am going to mess with my whites. I think what I will do is take the blues out, though, because I think those blues are really distracting. But we'll take a peek at that again at our HSL, which is about to come. Polarizing filter. Okay, polarizing filter adjusts our blues. We don't have a sky, so we're not going to worry about that. HSL, here it is. You know what? I'm going to call that good. Split toning. Split toning is something that is extremely popular right now, and I do not use it often. So it's going down to structure. Structure, I'm assuming, it's kind of like clarity, it looks like. There is a softness here. What I'm trying to do is draw out her cosplay, but still keep her face not terrifying. So these are the basic professional tools that you can use for your photos. Now, do not forget, this is a layer-based program, which means we can add a new adjustment layer on top of this. Let's take a peek at Portrait and see what we have. So you've got your basic development tools, just like Lightroom again, saturation, vibrance, your LUTs. I don't care about, what's soft glow. Let's take a look at local adjustments real quick. All right, so now what I'm going to do is add a new adjustment layer, because I want to make sure those eyes are popping. She looks like the Lich King now. Let's zoom on back out and see how that looks. That looks pretty good. That looks natural. I'm not terrified of her and her glowing white eyes, so that looks pretty good. All right, I'm gonna add another layer, and let's take a peek at what filters we have now. Holy cow, we have a lot of filters. So it looks like you can customize your workspace and add any of these filters that I want to on top of it. And then as I continue to add more layers and do more and more local adjustments, I can add filters on top of that. What haven't we taken a look at? We have Details Enhancer, which probably gives you an HDR effect. So the Details Enhancer is something that you will find in Aurora Hdr. Now, what this does is finds edging depending on larger details and larger edges, and it will enhance those, sharpen those. Now, small is what's going to give you a lot of that traditional HDR look. It's going to take those small pixels. This is a person, so it's going to look a little scary, and it will either soften them or bring them out in full detail. Orton effect is the thing that I'm the most excited about this tool, especially for portrait and landscape photographer. Let's take a look. In Photoshop, Orton effect is a little bit different. Traditionally, you duplicate a layer, you create a clipping mask of your layers, screen or soft light that layer, use a Gaussian blur on top of that, and then adjust as it is. Luminar does that for you, and I'm a little bit mad about that because where have you been all of my life? So let's take a peek at what it does. So take a peek at the histogram up here and pay attention to it as I adjust the amount. So I'm going to adjust it up. It has modified my levels. And as you can see, it also blends the darks and the brights, effectively helping me to skip about 4 steps in Photoshop. If you are a portrait photographer and a landscape photographer who already uses Orton effect, this is killer. This saves me so much time. Now, I want to keep my Orton effect, so let's add another adjustment layer and take a look at some more of the filters that I might use on this. So soft focus seems to be a Gaussian blur that if I needed to or I didn't already do my Orton effect, so let's turn off my Orton effect. Take my brightness down, but what I want to do now is change my opacity so she's not so bright. And look at that difference. It's not quite an Orton effect, but it certainly does stylize it more and make her skin much softer. I like that. So what soft glow is probably going to do is, you see this light right here? I am going to draw that right here. Just have a little bit hitting her face. Yeah, that just adds a nice soft gradient on her face. All right, so now let's take a look at those sun rays because I'm super curious about that. I keep forgetting to turn off my paintbrush here. Turn off your paintbrush. Let's see, sun rays. So, oh, that's neat. Oh, that's cool. It continues to change based on where it is. Oh, that's wicked. for all of you Instagrammers out there, for anybody that's doing travel photography and you're really into split toning right now, there's a split toning filter. You've got a matte look that's extremely popular right now too. That is, again, matting is something that I could talk about for an hour as far as the tone curve is concerned, but it seems like this tool might actually do it for you. So let's go back and add an adjustment layer, go to our filters, and do matte look just out of curiosity. And let's matte our photo. Skylum, I'm a little bit mad at you because I like that. I really like that. Damn, okay, you might be changing my religion here. Foliage Enhancer. I want to take a peek at... Oh my god! Okay. That's cool. See, that's super cool because now I've got this huge contrast only with the greens and I don't have to go in and select every single green thing. It found it by itself. It's not affecting my blues at all. I don't have to sit there and paint out my mask. It is doing everything for the foliage by itself. That's incredible. Let me show you this final photo in Aurora Hdr that we will talk about next time. Now, it's a different style, and I was able to sit and really play around with everything more just because I wasn't recording that one. So I still think that comparatively, though, I mean, for a laugh, let me show you my final edit in Lightroom. This was my final Lightroom image. And this is what I did with Aurora Hdr. So some very striking differences between the two. But if I was only limited to Lightroom, this would be my final image. And you can be the judge, but I think that the one that I edited with Skylum software is much better. Now, there are different platforms. It might not be fair to compare the two. However, it is fair to compare this to this. There is no contest in my mind which one is better. Skylum, you have done an amazing job with this. I hope that this was enjoyable, and I hope that I was able to show you that you have options, guys. You don't all have to just use Adobe. You don't have to have a monthly subscription anymore. You've got this. So if you guys are looking for an alternative against Adobe, I think this is it, guys. If you're an amateur, I sincerely think that this is much more accessible than Lightroom and Photoshop, both of them. Luminar 3 has more features than Lightroom does. It's easier to use. It's quicker to use than Photoshop. If you guys do want to take a peek at any of Skylum's software, what we took a look at today, of course, was Luminar 3. Next week is going to be Aurora Hdr. You can download 30-day trials, and if you use the code KinoElise, you can get another $10 off of the software. And again, this is not a monthly subscription. This is a one-time payment. Next time, we're going to be taking a peek at Hdr and bracketing, the entire process, meaning on-site and your post. So we're going to talk about the differences between Hdr and bracketing, and then I'm going to show you guys something called PT GUI, which is a panorama stitching software. Then we're going to take a peek at Lightroom versus Photoshop and Raya Pro as far as our stacking is concerned. And then Skylum's Aurora Hdr, which pretty much does all of the things that I want it to do in one program. So hit like, subscribe if you guys want to. Any form of support that you guys give me, I thank you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, internet friends.